shut up and win. The power of strategic silence in a loud world. We live in a time where saying more seems to be the norm. Social media, meetings, group chats, everyone is encouraged to speak, share, react, and explain. The pressure to be constantly visible and vocal has never been greater. But what if the real power lies not in saying more, but in knowing when to say nothing at all? Strategic silence, the deliberate choice to withhold words, can be more powerful than any speech. It's not just about staying quiet. It's about using silence as a tool, a shield, and even a sword. It's about influence without noise. Machiavelli, the Italian political thinker best known for The Prince, understood this deeply. While many quote him as a ruthless schemer, what often gets overlooked is his emphasis on restraint. He knew that in politics, revealing too much could be dangerous, but his lessons apply far beyond the political arena. In fact, they fit perfectly into our everyday lives and workplaces, relationships, negotiations, and even casual conversations. Silence as protection. Let's start with the most obvious benefit: protection. Machiavelli lived in a time when saying the wrong thing could get you exiled or worse. Today, you probably won't be banished for oversharing, but careless speech still comes with risks. Every time you speak, you give people something to work with. Maybe it's your opinion, your plan, your weakness, or even your insecurity. Once those words are out there, you can't take them back. Think about job interviews. Any candidates feel the need to keep talking, thinking it makes them look confident. But sometimes, silence shows more strength. The candidate who listens carefully, answers with focus, and doesn't over-explain often leaves a stronger impression than the one who rambles on nervously. Or consider relationships. Imagine you're in an argument with a partner. If one person starts defending every small thing they've ever done, the argument can spiral. But if they choose their words carefully, focus on understanding, and leave space for the other person to reflect, it changes the dynamic. Silence, in these moments, isn't about avoidance. It's about emotional control. Silence as strategy. One of Machiavelli's key insights is that speech creates commitments. When you say, "This is what I'm going to do," you've boxed yourself in. If you change your mind later, you risk looking unreliable living if the new decision is smarter. This happens all the time in business. A team leader might announce a bold new strategy to motivate their team. But what if market conditions shift a month later? Now they either stick with a flawed plan or backtrack and lose credibility. If that leader had waited, gathered more input, and spoken only when the direction was clear, they could have kept their flexibility. In negotiation, the phrase "whoever speaks first loses" exists for a reason. Picture two people negotiating a price. The one who stays quiet forces the other to fill the silence, often revealing more or making unnecessary concessions. Silence here isn't passive. It's powerful. Building authority with fewer words. We've all been in meetings where someone talks just to be seen. They jump in on every topic, even if they have little to add. Over time, their words lose weight. Now think about someone who only speaks when it matters, who listens more than they talk. When they finally offer a thought, people lean in. That's not an accident. It's authority-building silence. It works because people start to associate your voice with value. They know you are not speaking just to be heard. You're re-speaking because you have something worth saying. This applies in leadership roles too. A CEO who explains every detail of every decision might seem transparent, but they can also come off as insecure. A more confident leader doesn't need to explain everything. Their calm, quiet certainty sends a stronger message than any long-winded defense. Even in social situations, this is true. That one friend who posts every single thing about their life, eventually, people start tuning out. The friend who shares less, who leaves a little mystery, they remain interesting. Silence as a mirror. One of the most underrated aspects of strategic silence is how it lets others reveal themselves. When you stay quiet during an argument, a negotiation, or even a casual conversation, people often rush to fill that silence. And in doing so, they show you more of who they are, they fear, what they want, what they're trying to hide. For example, if you're dealing with someone who tends to dominate conversations, try saying less. Watch how they react. Do they become nervous? Do they keep talking and accidentally say too much? That's where the real insight comes from, not from your words, but from theirs. Interrogators use this technique often. They ask a question and then go silent. The person being questioned feels the tension and fills the gaps, sometimes giving away far more than they intended. You can use this in everyday life, not to manipulate, but to understand people better. Strategic ambiguity. There are also times when clarity isn't actually helpful at least not right away. In leadership, for example, if you lay out every single detail of your strategy too early, you lock yourself into one path. But if you communicate a vision while leaving some room for flexibility, you keep your options open and protect your ability to adapt. Politicians use this technique constantly. They speak in ways that allow different groups to hear what they want to hear. It's not always dishonest, it's about knowing when not to narrow your position too soon. In personal life, this might look like not making promises before you're ready. Not because you're being evasive, but because you're allowing space for growth. You're not locking yourself for the other person to a future that's still unfolding. The discipline of silence, using silence well, isn't about being mysterious for the sake of it. It's about discipline, knowing when your words help and when they don't. Before speaking, ask yourself, am I about to share something valuable? Or am I just trying to fill a gap? Am I helping the situation or giving away more than I need to? In business, this could mean listening deeply in meetings before offering input. In relationships, it could mean pausing before responding emotionally. In conflict, it could mean resisting the urge to defend yourself and letting silence carry your strength. In a noisy world, silence stands out. It creates mystery, builds authority, and allows space for others to reveal themselves. It offers protection, flexibility, and sometimes the upper hand. Machiavelli may have lived centuries ago, but his lesson still rings true today. Say less, listen more, and speak only when it serves your purpose. That's how you shut up and win.